I just wrote it. Okay. Hi everyone, you're watching Campus TV. My name's Millie and I'm here with Rachelle, who is running for the role of SU Activities Officer. Thanks so much for joining me, Rachelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing really, really well. It's a sunny day, lockdown's easing, like I'm feeling good.
Good. Okay, let's kick things off. You obviously ran a very successful campaign for SU President, coming second, and there are some similarities between the roles, but they are by no means identical. So what made you decide to run for Activities Officer, and how have you adjusted your campaigning accordingly?
So how I've adjusted, I think what I have done differently this time in terms of like how I'm approaching it is by really focusing on the fun activities part and really bringing the community together. I think, when I was running for SU president, there was a lot of pressure, being the first Black person to ever run, and also like, trying to like encompass everything. But this time I get to kind of focus it. So with this, I've added the seasonal proms to my manifesto, and also environmental and sustainability initiatives, which kind of bring us up together. And that's kind of like how I'm going to prepare for the role, in that it's more fun activities and just events orientated rather than, I'm going to manage the SU orientated.
So yeah, as you mentioned, your seasonal SU proms throughout the year. We already have a winter snowball and the masquerade ball and the summer ball. So how would your events be different? And are you suggesting that they would be in addition to what we have already, making maybe 7 in total, or would you kind of replace them?
So the situation is this: we are coming out of lockdown and we haven't had a good night out in a long time. A lot of us haven't. So yes, it would be in addition to what we have so far. And the differences between the seasonal proms to what we already have is that this time we'll be inviting societies, enterprise and volunteer and all those kind of like prominent people at the university to these events with badges. So it gives an opportunity to kind of talk to students in a very like chill environment. So, it also reduces the pressure of just making all your friends at Freshers Week. Like not everybody gets the opportunity. And, for some students, you get to like February and you haven't got housemates for next year. It's like completely okay, because these events on a regular basis seasonally gives people opportunity to kind of like make those friends, know about the volunteer opportunities available, and also just kind of like take care of themselves in a very like, just chill environment, like celebrate that you just got through uni at each step. And I think that's important because, you do your assignments and then it's like, and then it's like nothing afterwards. And I think having like an event to look forward to is something that will keep us moving forward and like try and get those grades to graduate.
Have you thought at all about what kind of price point those events would be at, and what would be reasonable for students to expect to pay for those kind of balls?
So I think what's important, if I was to get elected, the first thing I would do is do the research, is to ask students what they would prefer to pay for this. And I think one of the things I want to definitely do, regardless of what students think would be appropriate price for these events, is definitely put in a deposit system. So if your student finance has not come in yet, you can still like give little £5 towards and secure your place. So it's not about first come, first serve anymore. It's about, it's not just about like first come, because at the moment, like in Freshers Week, if you don't have the money to buy the whole ticket, you can't go. There's not really like a deposit system for it. But this time around is, you put a deposit in, you say what's going on, and we can like, put your place in. So that's kind of like how it would be managed. So research first, put a deposit system, and see what students want really.
Awesome. Another of the themes on your manifesto is about maintaining elements of the no detriment policy, such as no evidence for extensions and a cover letter acting as sufficient evidence for mitigating circumstances. And these kind of things have been a very hot topic this year. I think they are popular among many students, but some people say, rightly, that these questions fall under the remit of the education officer, who's going to be Jacob Withington, and to a certain extent, the SU president. So why have you included it in your manifesto for activities?
I think the fact that it's been a long-standing issue and it's something that's continuing for students that are doing it, I think it's important to also add activities to that. thing on the table, because it's an issue that needs to be solved. And if we want to get it solved within the year, we need more people on it instead of everybody doing loads of other stuff. So yes, it may fall in their remit, but having another person who brings another angle into the table, make sure that we speed up the process as much as possible. And also, compared to Annie and also Jacob, I'm bringing something different to the table. Like, I am a minority student, so I will know how those policies will affect these students. Bath is a predominantly white area, and having somebody who looks like me in those meetings saying, well, actually, this is what we need, and representing the students who have a voice but don't have a seat at the table. I think that's why it's so important, and that's why I needed to put it on there, because these conversations will be happening next year, and no one who looks like me will be in the room when it happens. So whatever comes to pass, if there's nobody representing us, may not actually meet the needs of all students. The student union is meant to be for all students, not just some students. And yeah, that's kind of why I put it on there. The representation matters. Yes, their remit, but they don't have what I have.
Another of your main themes as such, or suggestions, is low commitment mental health activities such as baking and chat, and like SU Instagram stories. And this again is a very key area and something that loads of candidates across different races prioritize, and particularly Meg Crossman, who's going to be the community officer. That's something that is big on her workload for next year. And seeing as the activities role is directly based in societies and groups, how would you integrate mental health provision, which is clearly really important, into specifically societies and groups?
So how I'll be specific to that is inviting societies and groups to these events to do like a bake-off style kind of conversation. So students, each week you have somebody from a different society, different, like either a lot of us or just a few of us, just baking and chanting about what everybody is doing and how students can get involved. And I think that kind of takes away the pressure of having to sign up for a group and like not really knowing what to expect or not knowing when they're going to meet up. It's like, what's going on, because each week you get to meet people, you bake, and students can come back to those videos if they just want to make the recipe, but also have like that sense of like understanding of what that society and that group kind of offers. So that's kind of like how it'll be specific. I know that Meg is going to be doing working with student services and all that kind of stuff, but I want to give societies a platform to just chat with each other and vibe and bake and feel approachable to students and showcase that they're, because when you talk to people about what they're passionate about, you see it in their face, and that's why I want to facilitate as activities of us having bake and chats, where you bake and chat and you get to know your societies and groups.
Awesome. Your main suggestion in terms of environment and sustainability is a 7-week program where students with an environmental or sustainable idea can secure funding from the Alumni Fund. Could you explain a bit about how this would help to achieve the SU's environmental goals? And do you know for certain at this point that money would be granted to this project, or is it more of a proposal at the moment?
So this is definitely a proposal that I feel like would be really important, in that, at the university, I think it will help with the sustainability goals, because I think what we have all these fancy meetings and students don't really, get as involved as I feel they should have. And how this would work, is, each week you were shown how to do the paperwork. You were shown how to apply to, really tone in your idea by collaborating with Bath Enterprise, which, helps people with businesses and things like that. And I think that's what this kind of 7-week program is about. It's about giving people the confidence to pitch their ideas, and it'll help towards a sustainability note, because it's like, it starts with us. And I know lots of people have amazing sustainability ideas, but they don't have the money to make it into a reality. And I think instead of, focusing on the big things I don't think might be as accomplishable in a year, giving students an ability to secure funding to make their ideas reality gives everybody kind of a chance to make that difference that they wish to see in the world.
And another question on sustainability, which is a big part of the activities remit. What one thing do you think the SU most needs to do to improve in terms of sustainability, and what would you do about it?
One thing. Honestly, I feel like there needs to be more conversations about what's going on exactly and how people can get involved. And that's why one of the things is a cook and chat that I want to do, where I invite senior staff and people who have all these meetings about sustainability, to cook and to talk about what's going on at the university in sustainability. And I feel like that's such a nice way to get to know what's going on without having to like attend long meetings and, you know, understand what's going on in the language. And I think that's kind of like how I feel what the the student union can do to kind of like for sustainability, invite and humanize these people who are making these changes and show students how they can get involved in a very fun and relaxed way.
Great, we're on to, I have two kind of more quick fire questions to wrap things up. First one is, would you be able to sum up your USP, so your unique selling point as a candidate, in 5 words or thereabout?
5 words.
Yeah, more or less.
I know how to navigate the system. So 6. I think that's just a really, I know how to navigate the system. And to, yeah, that's literally, do I need an explanation or was it a very quick one?
You can explain, you can expand why.
Basically, like, you know, I know how to get exactly what I want from university. That is shown in everything that I do. If you need things like, so when as an activities officer, if a student was to come up to me with a specific issue outside of my remit, I will know where they need to go, so they don't need to bounce and lots of people to get the support that they need. For instance, recently I've moved accommodation because I felt lonely and I think I needed to be with other students. I knew that I had to talk to accommodation and disabilities, and I was able to move without having to pay more money or anything like that. And it's like, that's the thing that I want to, my unique selling point. If a student comes to me, I know exactly how you can get the support you need without having to stress too much or feel like you are like bouncing too many people to get what you need.
Okay, great. And the last question is, if you could only implement one thing in your time as SU activities officer, what would it be and why?
Seasonal proms. I just feel like we've lost so much because of the pandemic. And I think seasonal proms is a great opportunity for us to connect again as a community and just vibe and make up for all the lost time and the missed opportunities. That's kind of it.
Awesome. I'm just looking back on my questions, and I completely missed one out. So we'll see if we can edit the order around, but I mean, it doesn't matter. Your 5th theme is gender identity and expression, particularly about increasing the visibility of pronouns for all people on library cards and email signatures in particular. The first question is, what dates would you make sure that these changes are implemented by, and how would you go about making pronouns the norm? So would it be compulsory for students and staff? Would it be an opt-in system, opt-out system? What are your plans there?
The plan is definitely to make it into an optional system, but really stress the fact that the reason why we use pronouns is to protect people, trans people, and people who, you know, are still in that process of discovering who they are. And it's not just like it's a trend. It's like, this is for protection, it's to protect people. And that's kind of like why, like, you know, that's why I would like really raise awareness about, let's opt in so we can protect our community. And how I'll make it through is like, personally, I would love to have that done by the summer, like over the summer, so the new range of students can opt in to have their pronouns on their library cards. Because a lot of students, when they come to university, it's the first time that they can be the gender that they are, you know, and they can express themselves how they wish to. So I want to like speed up that process. So as soon as you start university, your library card just shows who you are. And, you know, when you go home, nobody needs to see your library card. So, you know, it's like that nice personal way to be who you are without, you know, telling the whole world, because who's going to see your library card? Not even the library. So I think that's kind of like that's how that would kind of work. Get it done over the summer, opt in, raise awareness, and say why we do it is to protect people and allow people in space to be who they want to be so they can belong at Bath. Because you can't really belong if you can't be your true self, can you? So that's kind of why I would do that. So this is very, very important to me. I know it because I talked to trans people about this conversation, and they were like, you know, culturally at home, I can't be myself. I can't do anything. I can't dress the way I want to dress. I can't do what I want to do. But at uni, I can. And I was like, at least when they go home, they've got it, you know? But yeah, that's that's why it's so important. But yeah, that's how it works. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for chatting, Rachelle.
Oh, thank you for having me.